Tuesday, April 24th, 9 a.m. Mountain Time, 2018. Guys, in this video, we're going to take a look at yet some more unusual animal observations from different parts of the world, mainly across the United States, as you're looking at one here that occurred yesterday on a golf course. A goose got a little overprotective of the nest as this young man was just out casually playing a round of golf. Next thing he knows, he's literally head over heels from a goose. Look at that. Story posted yesterday, April 23rd at 1:50 p.m. Click on Detroit.com. I'll post the link below in the description box. And yes, that has been updated and added to the map here at the website. It's from Blissfield, Michigan, right there. Multiple other locations across the country that I want to share with you guys from the map here at the website. We've got the golfer and the goose. Just shared that one with you. And I think what happened here is he unknowingly got a little too close to the nest. Not exactly sure, but this one here was sent in by St. George, Utah. From St. George, Utah, by AJ back on the 19th. A couple of swans hanging out in the swimming pool of a resort. Just as comfortable as they can be. This photograph was sent in from Central Iowa, also on the 19th of April. This is what looks like almost an entire flock of pelicans in Central Iowa. He says he's never seen pelicans in Central Iowa. And I gotta be honest, I grew up in the Midwest. I think I've touched on this in the last wildlife video. A friend of mine noticed a couple of these, actually 3, near a lake by his home. And not this many. Heck, there's probably, 30 here? Maybe more? I don't know. It's difficult to tell. I don't remember ever seeing these on lakes and stuff. And I used to fish a lot. Don't remember seeing these. So maybe they have new migratory paths. I don't know. But this was sent in from Central Iowa. And the person took the picture of these pelicans because they'd never seen them before. This was sent in by Kirsten from Asheville, North Carolina. Friendly little bird sitting on the door handle, the front door of their home. Wasn't bothering anybody, but he was looking in the house, just staring, like we've been seeing owls do, and another creature that I'm going to share with you here in just a minute. But he would raise up and down, and he was just heavy enough to almost turn the door handle. And he was just sitting there staring in the window, just curious as to what they were doing. And that's out of Asheville, North Carolina. This was sent in by Nikki back on the 21st from South Dakota. Her dad took this picture of this hawk. This is a native hawk to South Dakota, but he was sitting unusually close to the curb. You can see the curve of the road, and as cars were driving by, he was just kind of like in a trance, like he was almost going hunting, but he's looking at the road, and there wasn't anything in the road. So unusual observation, and that's a native bird to South Dakota. It's a hawk. This next photograph is kind of weird. It was sent in from South Arizona, east of Tucson, and what they observed was this weird cluster of insects that they didn't recognize that were like stuck to the leaf of this plant and were not moving. They were alive, but they were just staying in the same spot, and it was just a cluster of insects that they were not familiar with. And that was sent in yesterday from South Arizona. But it reminds me of the bees that were sent in from Linda in South Carolina. She also sent a follow-up message letting me know that these bees were on this particular plant, or at least a couple of these bees, for over 4 days. And were still alive. They just hadn't moved. She actually moved the plant And when she did move the plant, she saw the bees move their legs, but they were stuck on one flower. Really weird. I have never heard of that. This is a bobcat from Northern California that was acting lethargic, again by the road, like the hawk from South Dakota. He just seemed like the road, the cars, just didn't bother him at all. It's kind of unusual. These are creatures that are normally, very skittish of cars and people and stuff like that. So to see him next to the road, he did eventually end up moving, but that picture was sent in from Arcata, California. That's up in Northern California. But there he kind of slowly moved away from the road, went up the embankment and back towards the trees. But, again, he was just sitting down by the road like we've been seeing other creatures do as well. That's here's the email that was sent in by the folks that saw the bobcats. That him and his wife were out driving, and they came across a bobcat just sitting in the ditch alongside of the road about 4:30 in the afternoon. He said the cat sat there so long he was able to take out the camera and take a few pictures, and the bobcat was completely unfazed by their presence. He just sat there and, like I said, was unfazed, much like these foxes that were sent in by David. This is from the Cape up in Massachusetts. Like they're posing for photographs. We've seen this from Illinois and other places as well with foxes. You don't normally get that close to a fox. They're very sly little creatures that hide and don't normally stand around and pose for photographs. It's just really strange. He also noticed, this is the same gentleman from the Cape, these turkeys that were in the road. He was able to stop, and they were posing for the camera. In fact, struck a pose here. Unbelievable. Those were sent in yesterday or the day before. And this here come out of Quebec, Canada. It's a seagull, much like the bird I was talking about earlier in the video that was sitting on the door handle staring inside the window of the door. This little creature here landed on this man's tractor. It's a semi. This is the hood of his truck. And he didn't draw him in with food or anything like that. The seagull landed on the hood of his truck, sat there and just stared at him. And he didn't have any idea why. This come from Quebec, Canada. And like I said, he was not enticing him with food or anything like that. So the strange wildlife observations continue. Later on today, guys, we're going to do a weather report. I'm going to take a look at the global conditions of the weather around the world. It's been pretty quiet here recently with regard to, extreme weather. Yeah, there's been weather going on, but I want to talk a little bit about, there's a storm system that's brewing near the UK, and I also want to talk about this year's tornado season in the United States. I want to give you guys just a heads up about the tornado season this year and how it could be one for the record books. I hope not, but I'm just going to talk a little bit about tornadoes and 2018. But anyway, guys, thanks for the incredible pictures and the awesome observations. Keep them coming. If you guys see anything that is unusual, at least to you in your local domain, your local area, send in a photograph if it's not an inconvenience to reports at mrmbb333.com, right here at the website, and we'll update your observation on the map, the wildlife behavior map. It's just something that we're following because it's unique, and people are seeing things that they just don't normally see year after year, different migration patterns, and literally a goose up in Michigan that sent a young man head over heels. Pretty incredible. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a super day and be safe out there.